Johnny DiMera has always been a man of passion, but his most recent misstep with Joy Wesley may have cost him the love of his life. Johnny has been racked with guilt over the pain he caused Chanel Dupree DiMera, worrying endlessly that she may never forgive him. However, the heart wants what it wants, and Chanel's love for Johnny runs deep. Even the most painful betrayals can be mended with time and patience. Although Johnny is eager to fix things, Chanel needs space to process everything that has happened. But the bond they share is undeniable, and before long, Chanel starts to soften toward Johnny once more. Fans of Days of Our Lives can expect to see Chanel open up to Johnny again in the coming episodes, leading the two of them to rebuild their future together. Love has a way of healing even the deepest wounds, and soon, Johnny and Chanel find themselves back on track. As their marriage begins to strengthen, conversations naturally shift toward the future. Chanel has always dreamed of becoming a mother, and despite the difficulties they've faced, that desire hasn't wavered. When she finally confesses to Johnny that she still wants children, he doesn't hesitate to jump on board. The thought of raising a child together fills them both with hope, but reality may not be so kind. While Johnny and Chanel are thrilled about the possibility of starting a family, fate may have other plans. Conceiving a child is not always as simple as it seems, and Chanel's past miscarriage could signal deeper health complications. There's a real possibility that she may face unexpected fertility issues, something neither she nor Johnny had prepared for. As they navigate the emotional highs and lows of this journey, the possibility of adoption begins to enter their discussions. Meanwhile, across Salem, another dramatic story is unfolding, one that could intertwine with Johnny and Chanel's in ways no one could have predicted. On the other side of Salem, Sophia and Tate Black have been wrestling with their own set of life-changing decisions. Younger than Johnny and Chanel, they are facing the reality of an unplanned pregnancy. However, Sophia's family situation is complicated by her mother, Amy Choi, who strongly disapproves of their plans. Sophia is determined to move forward with the adoption process, believing that her youth and uncertain circumstances make her unprepared for parenthood. Yet Tate, though supportive, is deeply concerned about the stress this decision is placing on Sophia, especially with Amy's vocal objections. One of Tate's strategies involves presenting a prospective adoptive couple that is likely to ease Amy's fears. Tate reasons that if they can find individuals who share Amy's core values, perhaps she'll relinquish her firm stance against the adoption. Amy has made it abundantly clear she wants a couple who is religious, upright, and wholly committed to raising a child in a secure, moral environment. She fears that a baby placed with random strangers might become a statistic or, worse still, suffer from a lack of nurturing upbringing. Here's where Johnny and Chanel's potential adoption plans could intersect dramatically with Sophia and Tate's situation. Desperate to prove themselves as suitable parents, Johnny and Chanel might be tempted to hide parts of their pasts or even pretend they fit the ideal couple mold. While some residents of Salem might consider them upright and affectionate, the DiMeras have a long history that can send even the bravest hearts fleeing. One can only imagine how Amy would respond if she discovered the family's connection to scheming corporate empires, underhanded manipulations, and, in Johnny's case, a particularly horrifying brush with demonic possession. Yes, the demon possession that plagued Johnny is not something that Salem will forget anytime soon. Even though that possession storyline has faded into the background for now, the specter of such an event still looms over him. If Amy catches wind of that particular chapter in Johnny's history, her disapproval will likely skyrocket. Watching her navigate these revelations, and possibly discovering more about the dark side of the DiMeras, could be a recipe for epic soap opera drama. One of the more intriguing elements swirling around this adoption scenario is Amy's insistence on religious, morally upright adoptive parents for her grandchild. Chanel and Johnny, while moral in their own way, are not typically seen attending church or quoting scripture. Given how determined Amy is, Chanel and Johnny might have to go to extraordinary lengths to present themselves as suitable in her eyes. We can almost see them faking it, trying to learn a few Bible verses or brush up on old-fashioned courtesy in an attempt to prove themselves. The comedic possibilities are endless, but in Salem, comedy often quickly transitions to a crisis. If this ruse were discovered, it could create a tidal wave of conflict and heartbreak. Amy might even threaten legal action. The intensity of her fear and determination to safeguard her grandchild's future could make her lash out in unpredictable ways. After all, Giving up a baby for adoption is never a simple choice, and the emotions of everyone involved can lead to abrupt changes in plans. Meanwhile, the biggest twist in all of this might be lurking just around the corner. While Tate has been standing by Sophia, fueling her consideration of adoption, rumors suggest a surprising paternity twist. The talk around town hints that Aaron, someone viewers might not have initially suspected, is actually the baby's biological father. If that revelation shakes up Tate's involvement, it will inevitably create a domino effect for the adoption storyline. Sophia could decide to keep the baby and shut out any influence from Tate, especially if she feels betrayed or misled. She might also worry that adopting out the baby will be more complicated if the child's biological father steps forward with an interest in raising him or her. From that point on, everything from custody battles to last-minute heart changes could alter the course of this pregnancy and the future of the baby in question. If the father's identity is up for debate, the entire adoption arrangement, and especially any hopeful adoptive parents, could find themselves in legal limbo. It's not hard to picture a perfect storm forming, with multiple characters' hopes and fears converging in a single life-changing decision for this child. What adds even more spice to the matter is the swirling undercurrent of fear regarding Johnny's past possession. While not everyone in Salem believes or fully grasps the extent of how that storyline played out, the rumors alone can be enough to stir up panic, especially in someone as protective as Amy, who is deeply invested in the baby's well-being. If she hears even a whisper of the supernatural drama, or if she stumbles upon one of Salem's more colorful gossips, perhaps Nicole or Gabby, who might accidentally spill too many details, Amy's reaction could be fierce. That kind of friction might drive a wedge between Sophia and her mother, too. Sophia, after all, is turning 18, which gives her the legal right to make decisions for herself and, by extension, for her baby. Will Chanel's newfound openness to forgiving Johnny pave the way for a stronger marriage? Most likely, yes. Soap fans know that love is rarely neat and tidy, but the bonds that weather so many storms can emerge unbreakable. The question is whether the couple's dream of raising a child will survive the swirl of controversy and potential heartbreak. Adoption stories can be among the most compelling on daytime television, especially when multiple character arcs converge. Everyone has an agenda or a motive, ranging from genuine hope to manipulative scheming. In the coming episodes, expect to see a wave of emotions flooding the screen, from Johnny's determination to prove he's worthy as both a husband and a future father, to Chanel's vulnerability in confronting her past miscarriage and possibly facing new fertility roadblocks, to Sophia's resolve in placing her baby with a loving couple. Tate might wrestle with the reality of not being the father, and Amy's apprehension could evolve into outright hostility when she realizes her grandchild might go to a DiMera. If you've watched Days of Our Lives for any length of time, you know that more surprises, betrayals, and alliances will form, each adding another layer of tension to the story. For those who have a soft spot for baby dramas, this will be a storyline to watch closely. Whether the child ends up with Johnny and Chanel or remains in Sophia's arms, the journey promises to be fraught with tears, joy, misunderstandings, and maybe even a bit of redemption. Ultimately, the adoption angle could spotlight each character's growth. Johnny, hoping to start fresh and prove his maturity, Chanel, grappling with the ghosts of her past while trying to forge a new future, Sophia, stepping into adulthood and making the biggest decision of her life, and Tate, discovering that love and fatherhood might not be as simple as he first believed.